Chicago Hockey Radio post-game show. Justin Lynch and Tassos Kirkos. Hawks lose 4-2 to the Boston Bruins. Brad Marchand is a killer. This was also new music. Shout out Raven. Although this one, the post-game intro song is a little goofy. Go back and listen to it, Justin, if you didn't, because it's a bit of a goofy one. But the two before the lead ups were bangers. So all over it. Shout out Raven for that. Yeah, Hawks lose to the Boston Bruins again. Suddenly the Bruins are the hottest team in hockey right now, even though I don't still actually believe that they're any good. I just, wasn't super thrilled with, the last 50 minutes of the hockey game for the Hawks. But I'm going to turn it over to you in a second here. But I just want to shout out and thank Lee who crushed the live stream tonight during the game. He really did a good job. And shout out to everybody that was joining. It was a really active chat. It was a lot of fun. It was cool. I joined him for the third period. Shout out Sully for taking the seat here at the producer's table. And I forget I have to look into the camera here and I don't have to look at the Zoom. But yeah, shout out Sully for sitting here at this very table so I could join Lee for the live stream. And it was a lot of fun. So yeah, Lee did a great job. Thanks to everybody who's pushing us over the line. A lot of growth today. The live you guys did before the game on Instagram too was fun. Yeah. Lee said the same thing after the game. He was like, "Oh, yeah, why don't we do that more often?" It's like, all right, you guys do that whenever you want. Yeah. So, what would you think about the game? What are your takeaways here? Yeah. Thank you.
Classic at the board. Hard to believe that's his first goal this season, but it is. He's got like 10 apples though, but good to see. A nice setup from Foligno and Murphy and others. He had 2 assists tonight. It's a good start. And then that was about it. The rest of the game, pretty much. I know we had a second goal from Dickinson, but the rest of the game was just 50 minutes, like you said. It was all Bruins. I mean, they just outplayed us. Although it wasn't even like they played that well as much as we just played bad. I mean, just from shift to shift, it looked like a different team. Just couldn't get any consistency going. I don't know, it just didn't work today. The lines didn't work. I like that Richmond's got more continuity. I think that's the right call, but they didn't work so well today. And I thought after the Toronto game that was really promising on Monday, the way we played 5-5 that game, I thought if we could just carry that over to this one, we should be able to win. I was actually going to this game with a lot of optimism. I really was. And it clearly I was being delusional because we have yet another disappointing post game to cover here, which is sad to see.
Yeah. Any bright spots for you? Do you wanna maybe start on the positive? Were there any bright spots?
The penalty kill was perfect, right? It was 5 for 5, and we gave the Bruins a ton of power plays today. And to be fair, another 4 goals were on the power play, so that was good. Our power play on the other hand went 0 for 2, so that's not so hot. But yeah, I think that's a positive. I mean, it was good. I think the Dickinson line was pretty strong today. Dickinson, Foligno, Mikheyev. I think they were pretty good out there. Like that was probably our best line. Kind of sad that was our best line, but I think it was. And yeah, another good game for Vlasic. I think he took that Team USA snub. Personally, I wasn't snubbed. You're right, but I like to believe he was. Betsy, on the other hand, I will admit that was not his best game. I mean, he had some looks unlike the Leafs game, but he was a little.
Justin, that's 2 in a row for him now.
Yeah, it was a little shaky tonight. I'll admit. I was hoping he'd take. I think he still will take the snub, the Canada omission personally, but it didn't happen tonight. That's for sure. I said that Marchand shouldn't have been the team over him, and Marchand proceeded to score 2 goals tonight. I thought for sure he'd have a hat trick, but that didn't quite happen. But still, he had a great game. The Rat. Not a big fan of his, but you know what? He showed me up as he tends to do. He tends to show people up. So, but yeah, in terms of Bedard, I unfortunately can't say a lot of positives. And then he had that, you could tell he's frustrated. I think he broke a stick. I mean, I think Sherwood's, they're getting a little nervous there. The amount of Sherwood sticks he's broken this season. That bill's racking up over there. And yeah, and then he took that penalty late, which I actually didn't mind it, right? At least, like, I think you mentioned in the live stream, like, if you're going to go down, at least go down some heart, right?
Yeah.
He cares. Bedard cares. He's frustrated. He's frustrated himself. He's frustrated the team. The whole team is. Turbo talked about too in the post game. Just the lack of confidence right now, the frustration of the team. That's 4 losses in a row now, which I believe is the most games consecutively lost. I don't think we lost more than 3 at any point before this game. So this is officially a losing streak. I mean, and yeah, I mean, we don't play again until Saturday too against the Winnipeg Jets. So I'm sure that'll go well. Although to be fair, they've actually been struggling, but
Yeah.
lately, but still, it's not a lot of it's been over a week since we last won. That Dallas game, I mentioned it in the post game for that game. I hope that isn't a one and done. I hope we can carry this forward. And everything since that Stars game, for the most part, has been pretty pitiful. Unfortunately, I hate to be negative Nancy, but I don't really have a lot of good things to say right now. To be honest,
No, it Dallas feels like a month ago now.
seriously,
Like feels like a
yeah.
month ago.
Yeah, that Taylor Hall hat trick, he hasn't done anything since that Hattie. That
No.
first line's been struggling. Bertuzzi, the 2 games he's been up there, he is yikes. I mean, absolute yikes. He hasn't done he's not looked good up there. I mean, so yeah, I'm not sure what needs to happen there. If you keep that line the same, or if you bump somebody else up there in the wing with Bedard and Hall. But yeah, because I just don't think that's working too hot right now. I know I'm not a big fan of changing the lines, but it's been 4 games in the last couple. After a promising first couple games with these combos, it hasn't looked so hot lately. So maybe there does need to be some adjustments there. I know it kind of goes against what I normally say, but Peter though, I thought Peter was okay. I mean, I wouldn't really put this game on him. Maybe there was one softie in there, but I think otherwise I thought he had a pretty strong game. I don't think those goals were really on him. The defense wasn't great. Alec Martinez, like, where the hell was he on that third? I think it was at the third or fourth Boston goal. Well, the fourth, yeah. I think, yeah, it was the fourth one of Morgan Geeky. He had 2 goals as well, in addition to Marchand. Just gave him a breakaway. It was not even close. I mean, I watched that play and I'm like, God damn, I miss Seth Jones, man. He can't get back soon
Yeah,
enough for this
seriously.
team, because that
Yep.
was a big yikes. And that wasn't the only moment, but that was definitely the one that stood out the most. And Marchand, both his 2 goals were like pretty much identical, like cross ice, like
Mm-hmm.
passes. He was wide open, and that just can't happen. So you think you learn from one, but it's like the same thing happened twice. He and Pasta connected both times, so it was like watching the same goal. I thought we had a decent result though. Yeah, a decent response to end that period where it's like, okay, we're going to the third, right? We're only down 1 here. Like, there's no reason we shouldn't be able to,
Mm-hmm.
take it to them and kind of get this to overtime. And it just didn't happen. The third period was a flat effort. I'm still confused on the ending to that game, that too many men. What happened there? It's like we should have opportunity, if the goalie pulled to like
Guy
tie the
jumped too
game,
early. He jumped too early.
and that's like, that just can't
Was it
happen.
Bertuzzi that jumped too early?
I can't remember who. It may have been Bertuzzi, whoever it was.
Oh
Like,
boy.
that just can't happen. Like, that's just fundamentals, basics. Like, you have it. This is late in the game. You got to be clutch. You have a chance to tie it up, and it's like you're totally taking away that ability to do so, because then you got to
Yep.
go in another penalty kill. Which five penalties this game. Like, that can't happen. Also, something I noticed, I feel like Connor Murphy has been in the box like almost every game this season. I love to know what his penalty minutes are. It's got to be well over 30. I swear every game he takes a penalty.
Look that
He
up.
took another one today. And yeah, I think going off of Martinez too, going back to him, I think Lee mentioned it. I think he was like a minus 3 or something tonight. I think maybe even a -4. He may have been out there for all 4 of the goals. I'm actually gonna check now. Let's see, Martinez. Yes, he was a -4. He was out there for literally every single Bruins goal and none of ours. So that's pretty impressive. So so clap to Alec Martinez there. Very impressive defense. But not just him. That whole defense was kind of ass tonight. Yeah.
Murphy had assists on both the goals though. Yeah, I guess
He
so.
did. To be fair, I think he has what? He has like 10 apples this year, if I'm not mistaken. So,
Guess
so
how many
that's good.
penalty minutes he has?
35.
32.
Ah, so close.
Very close.
I knew he was in the 30s. I knew he was up there. But
32
yeah, I mean,
in 26 games. He had 40 in 46 games last year.
I was gonna say, because he's a physical player, but like he's normally not in the box a lot from just watching all these years of the Hawks. So I don't know why this year that's changed, but yeah, that's something I've definitely noticed
How
for
many
sure.
fighting majors does he have? 1? 2?
He's had a couple fights, I think. Yeah, 1 or 2 probably.
Okay.
He had a fight in the game I went to against Columbus. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Also, first of all, if you had Morgan Geeky scoring 2 goals in this game on your bingo card, you're lying. To all
Yeah,
of us,
that's pretty random, right? I mean, he scored as much goals in this game as he's had all season. And yeah, for the Bruins, all of a sudden they're not that. I mean, their record's not as bad as you think. They're 14-11-3. I think they've won 3 straight now. So I don't know. Maybe there is something to that coaching change.
they're gonna do this Bruins thing of like, you got Low Rye, who I chirped a little bit lightly, so ever so lightly before the game, just saying he was small, and he had 2 assists in the Blackhawks face tonight, and so did Justin Brazo, who was like an ECHL guy at one point, and
Don't
Jordan
poke the bear.
Osterley too, who feels like a career AHLer that I don't know
Before a
how he's still
Blackhawk as
playing
well.
hockey.
Yeah,
Huh?
yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's right. Yeah. But it's funny. I was actually feeling kind of good going to this one, but I poked the bear in my pregame show. I was way too optimistic. Yeah, I definitely ate some of my words there. The Bruins, yeah, they made us look not so hot there for sure.
Good takeaway from me, or like a takeaway from me, a positive one was the start to the game. I thought it was good.
That was good. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, that was one of the better starts I think I've seen. A little bit of jump from both teams. Hawks scored early, first minute and a half of the game. That might have been the one of the quickest goals the Blackhawks have scored to start a game, I think.
Yeah, it was 123 into it, so that was
Yeah.
good. Like we got that early goal. I'm like, okay, like here we go, right?
hmm
And there's been a few games this season. We actually haven't had an issue scoring the first goal lately. I think I saw a stat from Ben Pope where it's but the Hawks have had a hard time. Like normally teams that score the first goal have a good record, right? The Hawks don't. I
Nope.
couldn't tell you exactly what it is, but it's definitely not 500. It's way below that.
You're
So that's a
asking me all
problem.
these stats I don't have in front of me.
Yeah, I don't have them either. I'm just spinning off the things that are in my head, but I can't find them. But anyway, the start of the season was interesting because it was the opposite, right? Like we never get the first goal. We were bad in the first period, but had good finishes, and now it's like we're getting off the good starts, but we can't finish the rest of the game. So I don't know why it's like we just can't. We struggle with this consistent 60-minute efforts. It's been an issue all season. I know I'm sounding like a broken record player right now, but I think almost every game I've noticed it, and it's like I'm not sure what needs to change there to fix that, but it's gotta because this isn't sustainable. I mean, all of a sudden now it's like we're in early December. We're at 8-16-2, dead last. The Predators are somehow still a game within us. That's how bad their season has been.
They lost again tonight, dude. Oh my god, brutal.
That's something. So, and yeah, I mean, their situation, yeah, 7 wins in 26 games. That's pretty sad. But yeah, we don't have too much to be. I will say, here's another positive takeaway. It has nothing to do with the Blackhawks game. The Rockford Ice Hogs 7-3 victory tonight. Frank the Tank Nazar. I got to mention every single show. 3 points. I mean,
Did
20.
he
I
really
think he
have
has
3 points tonight?
Yes, and he has 24 points in 18 AHL games, which is second in the AHL as a 20-year-old rookie. I mean, I don't know about
Wow.
you. I mean, that doesn't seem like a player who he seems like an AHL player. I mean, I don't know if he really needs to be down there right now. I mean, great for his confidence, sure, but you tell me he can't play in this Hawks team right now. I think I wouldn't believe you. I think he could. But just how would you utilize him, right? I mean, this system, I don't know. So maybe it's better for him to be down there. And not just him. Colton Dock's playing well. Korchinski's been playing better already. All the guys you want to see down there, Slaggert, that playing well, have been. And I think we'll see a lot of these guys at some point. Probably not anytime soon, but at some point this season. It does feel like this team could use a shakeup, though. We've been saying it for a while. I wouldn't hate if not going to call Nazar, why not Colton Dock, right? He's a couple years older. That's a guy I think that could, boost this team. Slaggert, like, let's just do something. I think, I don't know. A lot of players playing well down there. Cole Gutman, like this team needs offense. Like, why not call somebody up? I don't really see the harm in it. But yeah, it's something I was thinking about too.
Eventually, I mean, you have to wonder at what point do the losses pile up enough that something happens, like something gives here, right? I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, if you're not going to make a trade, at least like work in your system. Or if you're not going to work in your system, you can make a trade. Like you got to do something. I don't think doing nothing is the answer right now. I really don't at this point. Um, Again, I know that kind of goes against what I was saying earlier this season, but now it's like we're 2 months in. I think we've had enough of a sample size. We're almost we're over a quarter of the way, almost a third through the season, where it's like, okay, like we've seen enough now. Something in the system, lineups, whatever needs to change. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Richardson, what do you think the temperature on his seat is?
I'll be honest. I think the seat should be hot, but I don't think it is. I don't think KD would consider firing him during this season. I think the earliest he'd be fired would be the off season. And even still, I think Davidson, for everything I've heard about him, he's a fan of Richardson. So I don't know if he would consider firing him even this off season, where it probably would be a year away. I mean, but I don't know. I'd be lying if I claimed I wasn't kind of losing faith in him and his system a little bit. I just feel like it's the same thing every single game. I know it's not the best team. I get it, but I really don't think this roster is as bad as 8-16-2. I don't. I think a lot of these players should be getting more out of themselves. And maybe I think it's a two-way street, right? I don't think it's all on Richardson, right? But I do think he shares plenty of the blame for where we're at right now. And I just think the style of play, like I look at a team like the Sharks, right? That's a team at a similar spot as us rebuilding wise. They're younger, they're more high flying, they got more offense to their game. Like they play the way I think a rebuilding team should be, like with creativity, not afraid to make mistakes, fun to watch. Like this team, some of these games, just it's not fun to watch for many games. I know it's not the point of hockey's not to be fun, it's to win, but it's like we're not even winning. Like this defensive structure, it's not even working. Like it's not like we're edging out these close games. Like we're coming out in the flat end almost every single time. So because we can't score, we can't put the puck in the net, and that's an issue. And again, it's not all on Luke, but I do think he shares some blame. But to answer your question, I don't think he's really on the hot seat at all. I think he should be.
I'd love to know where the Hawks are too. I'm gonna write this down to have ready for Friday's show, but where the Hawks are in penalties drawn. Maybe somebody in chat can help us out with that.
I feel like they don't get a lot of power plays.
No, me neither.
Which to be for the power, yeah.
No, I just like a lot of stick infractions are like you're catching guys because you're moving your feet and they're not. Yeah. And if you're not getting those stick infractions called against you, then maybe that means you're not moving your feet enough, right?
On the opposite of that, I feel like they do take a lot of penalties. I'd be fascinated to see where they're at from that regard too. So that doesn't help too, right? When you're spending more of your time shorthanded versus having an extra guy. But yeah, I mean, the power play is so inconsistent too. Like it looked great a couple games ago. The game I went to against the Jackets, and that's done absolutely nothing the last two games since. So I've never seen a more inconsistent power play in all my years watching the Blackhawks hockey. So that's pretty fascinating as well. But the penalty kill has been a strength. Like if there's been a one consistent thing, I feel like I hardly have anything bad to say about the penalty kill. It's got to be up there. I'd be surprised if it wasn't. Yeah. But yeah, this just.
Oh, you first.
Sorry, yeah. Just kind of expanding Richardson though. I get what he's trying to do with the dump and chase hockey. I do. I get it, but it's just like I don't know. Like I don't recall a lot of rebuilding teams of all these old, slow washed unks, playing this dump and chase system. It's like I don't know. It's not all Richardson though. Like I do question some of this construction. We brought up with KD. It's like, did we need all these 35, 36, 37-year-olds? Like it'd be nice to have more young guns at Rockford on this team right now. I get what he's trying to do with the development and all that. I think it's working out. We're starting to see that, but I'd love to see a younger team here. I think that'd be more exciting, and we honestly think it'd be more productive. I think Frank Nazar on this team would really. I think he would add a lot of offense to this team. I think he'd add a spark. I know it's only one player, but I mean that might be all they need right now. It's just that one piece and that top six to make a difference because those top sixes hardly look consistent from game to game. So I think adding somebody like with his skill in there, I think he'd be the second most productive forward of his team. Maybe I'm being biased there, but I'm that high in Frank. I think he's that good. And I mean, maybe that's saying more about this team than him, but it doesn't have to be him. Just I don't know. I think he's definitely the way he's playing down there. I know I keep yapping about it, but he hasn't given me a reason not to. With the way he's been playing.
Yeah, to move away from Frank Nazar to help guide you through. Yeah, the point that you made earlier, and we made this on the show. I made it in passing a little bit to try and, be like, they should win this game, right? Like,
yeah,
they should have won this game.
We said it.
Yeah. They didn't come out with the effort enough to do it. Like I'm looking through the Bruins. I love playing this game of like, who are you? And looking through these rosters.
There's a lot of random guys in that bottom six.
Here's the who are you for the Boston Bruins. And obviously we know some of these players exist and who they are, and that they are guys who are on NHL rosters now. But like John Beecher, Mark McLaughlin, Morgan Geekie, who put 2 in the net tonight, Cole Koepke, Mark Kastelik, Justin Brazo, who dumped 2 assists on the Blackhawks face tonight.
Who are these guys?
Lohrei, who, well, yes.
Did they pick these guys off the street? I've heard of some of them. Like some of those players, I generally have no clue who they are.
Fun thing about Lohrei, I think he's the first NHL player from Louisiana, if I'm not mistaken.
That doesn't shock me. That's not really known to be a hockey hotbed. No. Yeah, no.
And then Andrew Peak, and we mentioned Jordan Osterley, but like Cole Koepke and Kastelik.
There's a lot of AHL players.
McLaughlin and Brazo. Like, what are we doing? Like, this is a far cry from the Boston.
Yeah,
like
this Dobbs Sweeney thinks that's a playoff team. Yeah, Montgomery was totally the problem. By the way,
the Hawks made him look like the Boston Bruins from 2 years ago.
The Hawks will do that to any team. They make, I think you guys mentioned that in the live stream as well. Like, Hawks will make any team look better than they are. But another thing, the Hawks, like, they've hardly outshot the opponent this season. Like, they did against the Leafs, which is why I think we glazed that performance so much, even though they lost. But before that, I saw a stat, like, they hadn't outshot opponents since November 6th before that game on Monday. Like, they hardly outshoot the opposition. I don't know why this team is so allergic to put a puck on net, but it's like, you're not going to. Like, when you're struggling to score, well, yeah, because you're not shooting the puck. You have to shoot. You have to put the puck in the net to score. It's like this team doesn't seem to understand that basic concept of hockey.
Yeah. Oh, so I already asked you we talked about it on Monday, my question of the week on my show. Would you take Gavin McKenna first overall? But first of all, how far would this Blackhawks team go if you traded Connor Bedard for McDavid and Draisaitl?
Oh, I mean, I think they would drag this team. I want to say they would drag. Those two are so good. They would drag this team to the playoffs. I do think that.
I said they'd go to the third round.
I don't think they'd do anything in the playoffs, though. I mean, I know those.
I think they'd win a round or two.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, because I think the supporting cast of Edmonton isn't great, but it's at least like competent enough where it's like they don't have to solely carry him. But like with the Hawks, I just don't know if that's the case.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's an interesting question.
I don't know, man. You take those two off some of these past Oilers teams and even the current Oilers team, and it's not a far cry, Justin, from what the Blackhawks have going on right now. You take McDavid and Draisaitl off that team.
Oh, they're nothing. They're worse than us. Way
Not to
worse.
turn this into Oilers hockey radio, but
like they're generally worse than us. I really think that.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Those two are the team, but Connor Bedard is this team. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think if you traded them, this team would go far.
That's fair. No,
yeah,
I could.
Lee was trying to say they wouldn't make the playoffs. So
yeah, I don't know about that. I mean, yeah, I don't think they would do anything when they got there.
I'm going to ask other people about that throughout the week, though. See if I can get some reactions out of some people and what they think about it. But yeah.
Another thing I want to say though, I did watch the first episode of the Winter Classic show, and it focused a lot on Jim Montgomery of the Blues, and like that guy's a coach, man. Like you just see the behind the scenes of how that guy operates. It's like I find it crazy to think that Don Sweeney thought that he was the problem. Like I mean, he's got those Blues team like starting to hum now, and I'm definitely concerned just watching that first episode about that Winter Classic, how that's going to go down. I mean, I know that's a ways away, and I know I claim not to be on the show today, but after watching that first episode, I'm like, yeah, I think we might be cooked there. But that's a ways away, I know. But I think Montgomery, he was a former coach of the Bruins, so I thought it was fair to bring up. But yeah, just an interesting little tidbit. And also, we officially have heard that Bedard was left off Canada and Vlasic USA and all that. Teravainen's the only Hawks representative in the Four Nations, so. And then I think the Bruins have like 4 or something, but yeah, we that is official now. Yeah.
Do you think Kyle Davidson's kicking himself at all for not going after Jim Montgomery, or do you think he doesn't even? That's not even on his radar.
The way Montgomery spoke, it's like the Blues were going to be the team. I don't think anybody else was gonna like that. Was the backup plan? I think he's got the connections there. He says like everybody knows is from there, basically. Like he's got.
Buddy, I think if the Chicago Blackhawks come calling, though, you're picking up the phone at least.
Well, you're picking up the phone. The way he was talking, maybe that's just because he's there now. Like if he before, there may be something to that. I do wish the Hawks thought about it, but I wasn't. I wished it, but I didn't think it was going to happen. Because, like I said, I just don't think Richardson is on the hot seat. To be fair, for those teams at, I suppose I get it, but I don't too. I mean, I think he should be, but I don't think he is.
Yeah. Like I said off the hop, I still don't think Boston's going to do anything this year, though. Maybe they snag that third spot in the Atlantic, but I don't think 4 teams are making the Stanley Cup playoffs out of the Atlantic. I think 5 teams from the Metro are going to make it when all is said and done. Washington's just too good this year. New Jersey's having their bounce back. The Rangers, as much as they try to get it off the rails, Igor Shesterkin will put them into a playoff.
They're still better than Bruins. Yeah,
they're still better than Boston, no matter, even at their absolute worst. And yeah, I just, Tampa Bay has
Tampa's got pass.
They got the best chance at sneaking into a wild card spot, or making the Bruins look like dust, and maybe it's Tampa that takes that 3 spot. And I think they're better than Boston too, way better.
Yeah, that conference is such a bloodbath where it's like I still think they could get in that 8 spot though, because it's like, okay, those 3 teams, right? The Leafs, Panthers, and Lightning fish ahead of them. But it's like, who passed them in the Atlantic, and then the Metro, like you said, I think those 4 teams like Washington Devils, Hurricanes, and Rangers. But like, who in the Atlantic passes them? That's the question. I just don't know if these teams are good enough. Where it's like, I think they'll probably be one of the worst 8 seeds in the history of the playoffs, but I think they'll still get there probably, and it gets swept in the first round. Yeah.
The only other thing I had, Mrazek, or I mean, there were a couple of guys that weren't good. Like, you mentioned Alec Martinez was dreadful tonight, but
Yeah, he wasn't alone, but
yeah, but like Mrazek, not a great game.
Yeah, for his standards.
For us
Yeah,
talking about the fatigue factor becoming a narrative around Peter Mrazek,
you could see a little bit
that
of
was
it.
not the performance to shut down that narrative. You know what I mean? That was not the
You
game
know
that
what?
really.
There was that one goal, which I think it was the first. I think it was the first goal. Yeah, like that one he should have had. They just squeaked under him. But then the
Mhm.
defense, like there was 2 Hawks defensemen there that could have either, that could have put the puck, under him, to cover it. They just stood there, and then Geeky just beat them to it. So that was partially on Mrazek, but wasn't entirely on him. I think a lot of goals tonight were like that, where it's like you could say, oh, he should have had that one, but it's like, well, why does that look even there in the first place? So I think it's a two-way street. But I would agree with you. I think you posed a question. Could have Soderblom started this game, and I think he could have, but I just don't think
Why
the Hawks have
not?
that trust in him. But like, yeah, exactly. Like, try anything at this point. Like, make Soderblom the starter for a week and see what happens. Like, play him
Maybe
3 out of
maybe
4.
would have stopped one or two of them. Who knows?
Because like you don't know until if you don't try it, right? It's like I think they're concerned if they give him too much of a workload, his game will fall off. But it's like, well, we don't know that. You can try it once, and see what happens. Like honestly, because I think Mrazek, yeah, like you said, some kinks in the armor are starting to show there. Yeah.
Maybe if you only start him every 2 weeks, he's gonna lose it.
That's the thing too. I mean, he was only won one game as good as he's played, so that says something right
Like
there.
give him 7 games. Like
I
that's
think,
what I said the Sabres should do
yeah,
with UPL, and that's why they've even looked, like they swept California after they started to do it, and they,
yeah,
things have kind of got a little off the rails there. But like just give him like UPL is better than Devin Levi, and they're like playing him a little bit, and they're playing
yeah.
Levi, and everybody knows they want Levi to be the guy
Mm.
in Buffalo too, which is like such a weird thing because they locked up UPL. But beside the point, conversation for another time. But
They're still thinking about that World Juniors performance a few years ago.
UPL's numbers were just better too.
Yeah, that's fair.
So at one point
Yeah.
it's like, all right, like you just gotta like you want to win hockey games, like play the guy whose numbers are better more, right?
Mhm.
Like
I think, yeah,
I don't
I
know.
think I think Mrazek Soderblom, like that should be like that is the dictionary definition of a 1A 1B tandem, but it hasn't been that way. But
Mhm.
I think they should be playing them like that for sure.
Yeah, I agree. Do you have any other thoughts from tonight?
I'm sure I'll have more thoughts when the show ends. I love when that happens. But
Every
you know
time.
what? You know what I've noticed lately? I swear every time I check the faceoffs after the game, it's always around 60% for the opposition and 30% for the Hawks. And it's the same way for this one. 62.5 for the Bruins, 37.5 for the Hawks. I swear that's been a thing like all season. The Hawks have struggled on the dot. I'd be fascinated to see like where they rank in the NHL there because there's been few games where they've won more draws and that kills you. That kills your possession because then you get stuck in the D zone for the majority of shifts. And it happens a lot, especially when Betsy's on the ice, right? They lose that opening draw, and then they're stuck chasing the rest of the shift. By the time he gets the puck, for a rush chance, he's gassed because then the shift has got to change. That's been a problem all season. So that's something that's got to get better. Just winning these draws. Again, sounds easy, but it's not. But something I've
Justin, I
noticed for
won't lie
sure.
to you. You know who's dragging those numbers down?
Betsy, yeah,
Yeah,
because he's like what 30%. So just don't
Justin.
have him do the
Justin,
draws
he
anymore.
was
He can play center, just don't do the faceoffs. To have somebody else do it.
Justin.
Yeah.
He was 28% tonight in the face-off dot.
Yeah, that's a wolf. So maybe he's got to go back to the wing. I'm just kidding, but at least have somebody else do the draws until he figures out how to win a faceoff. Let's get Jonathan Taves back from the India healing journey and bring him on as a faceoff coach for the Chicago Blackhawks.
Seriously.
Whatever you got to do, because we've got to the point where it's like I don't think that's just a shrug it off thing anymore. Like he's generally got to get better at faceoffs.
Like
Like,
Jason
I'll
Dickinson.
fully admit that. He's
Jason
been okay at
Dickinson,
that.
47%. Philip Kurashev, 25%, although I don't know how many draws he took. Although at least probably 4 to have a percentage of 25.
Mr. Negative 20 plus minus there.
Taylor Hall, 33%. So I assume he went 1 for 3 on faceoffs. Lucas Reichel, 57%. Pat Maroon, 50%. Connor Bedard, 28%.
Ugh, woof.
Yikes.
Yeah,
That's
so
bad. Who's taking faceoffs? Taylor Hall and Pat Maroon took faceoffs?
Well,
tonight.
that shows you how much trust they have from the draw that they're having Taylor Hall do face-offs occasionally. But
And they both have better percentages than Bedsy.
maybe that's just when like
That's crazy.
sometimes centers get kicked out. Maybe that's just what that is. Maybe that wasn't by design, but that is brutal.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah. I'll admit, not his best game, but he'll bounce back. He's not going to have 3 consecutive games like that. He was playing so well before that, but maybe get somebody else up there with him and Hall. Maybe get who was up there before Kershaw. Yeah, get him back up there. I know he hasn't done much, but I think he's at least looked decent lately. Try to rekindle that chemistry from last season, which hasn't happened this year, but I wouldn't give up on it.
Only 2 shots on goal tonight too.
Yeah,
Rip the pill a little bit.
yeah, I'd love to see him shoot it more.
Yeah.
And like he should be. I thought he would be shooting it more after breaking out of that slump, but he's kind of reverted back to this being afraid to shoot the puck thing, which is kind of unfortunate. But hopefully he snaps out of that. Yeah.
All right. Anything else?
I think that's all I got. Yeah, we got Jets Saturday, so couple days to, which I think it's a good thing for this team because this was our 3rd game in 4 nights or something like that. So probably a good thing for this team to have a couple of nights off, rest, reset, and hopefully they'll have a bounce. To be fair, while the Jets are, the Jets, they have been kind of struggling lately, but I also said the same. The Bruins going to this one that worked out great. So I mean, with the Hawks, they're dead last. Like, who cares who they play at this point? It's probably pointless getting into those kind of thoughts. It's just I think just take each game one game at a time and. Yeah, hopefully they'll bounce back over the weekend. But yeah, we're wishing upon a star here. But as long as there's delusion, there's hope, right?
Yeah. Subscribe to this YouTube channel. Leave a 5-star rating and review wherever you are listening to this right now, whether it is Spotify or Apple Podcasts. And if it is one, go over to the other one and do the exact same thing because it helps us out tremendously. And we're pumping out a lot of content for you guys. So doing the little things like that go a long way for us. And also shoot us a follow on Instagram too if you haven't already at Chicago Hockey Radio. It's been a great day, honestly. Between you and I did a show, Lee did the live stream,
Yeah.
you guys hopped on Instagram, we put out the clip of the hits. We are here doing this post-game show right now. It's a lot for 3 guys. I mean, we're plugging away.
No, it's fun. It's fun to grind away at this team. I feel like I'm in the trenches with them, but we're not. We're talking into microphones here, but I feel like I am. It's good to have that
Fun.
investment. And it's going to pay off more on this team. I've said it before, and I'll keep saying it. Like, it's only up from here. I know people are sick of hearing that, but it truthfully is only up from here. So stick around for the long haul, and it's going to pay off. Not just with this podcast, but with the team, everything. Yeah.
I think we knew this was the long game we were playing here when we signed up for this one.
Oh yeah, we knew we were going to reap the rewards right away, but it'll come. It'll come. Now we're building the foundation right now, and now we just got to advance the floors. Yeah.
All right. Thanks to everybody that participated today and stuck around. Shout out to Raven. Shout out to Sully. Those guys are crushing it, and so is everybody on this show. You and Lee are doing a really good job. A lot of work to be done still though this month, but a good month ahead nonetheless. All right, we'll see everybody Friday for the podcast.